Yo, what is going on, party people?
What
and welcome to
up?
another episode of Spin from the Real. My name is Chris Anthony Lopez, and joining me for the first time as an official co-host on this show, at least the both of us on screen together.
Yes.
It's the alimony without the divorce. It's Allison Salamone.
Hi, how are you? This is so exciting because I didn't get to see you last week.
Right. How dare I be at work?
How dare you? How dare you do something that makes it so you pay your bills? I'm like,
right. You got to keep the lights on. The Wi-Fi wasn't working earlier. It was a whole thing. I was trying to just play games on my PlayStation. It's all right. Everything's fine though. We got it situated. But we're not alone today. Not only do we have our boy Suge in the back. I don't know, Suge. Can you hear me? Or can we hear you?
Yeah, you can hear me. I can hear you.
What's up? What's
here.
up, Suge?
What up, homie?
What up?
But we're also joined by the co-founder of this channel, and his name happens to be Matthew Thomas. Matt, what's good, brother?
Tired. It's been a long day. Working in retail before Christmas sucks.
Dude,
it sure does. I do not miss those days whatsoever.
2 semesters till a degree. 2 semesters until a degree.
Big ups to all of our everyone working in retail, everyone with forward-facing whatever. In these times and in this season, God bless all y'all.
Yep, and God bless everyone watching in the chat. I see you, Galaxy Geeks. What's good? Sean Wingblade.
What up, Wingblade?
So many folks
here. You got, I think Jake was in here. Buck.
Jake's in here. Buck. Luke.
So many nice people.
Ryan.
Maddie.
Oh, you guys.
Yo, I wonder why y'all are here. You know, like it's. I bet you know. It is Allison.
It's not me. It's
Matt and I. We've been here for a long ass time doing this
year and a half.
Right. But it's crazy. Like doing the show so long, we still get to do firsts, and we get to talk to people for the first time, and it's so rad. So it was crazy because earlier today, speaking of retail, I was driving home from retail, and I had this cool ass intro in my brain for our guest. And I'm gonna say it right now. So I hope he's ready. Are we good? Let me get a thumbs up from a guest in the back. Awesome. So introducing the man who I awkwardly introduced myself to outside of the Mint Spectacular Weekend because he scared the hell out of me and I didn't know he was there. And I'm like, oh my God, it's Kevin Smets. I just saw you. But he's the former Inner Geekdom champion of the movie trivia Schmoedown. And he made his triumphant. And when I say triumphant, y'all, I mean it. At Spectacular 6 to this incredible ovation. Not only is he a very nice person for coming on this show, but he's an inspiration to many for what our man has gone through. So without further ado, it's the Smasher, Kevin Smets!
How's it going, everybody?
She looked at you like, what are you making me do? What are you making me do?
Dasha, I scared my daughter. Dasha, my wife.
Oh,
she had the cute little face, the scary face.
Oh, what
hold her up for the camera for them.
The whole chat blowing up.
Kira.
She had the cute little sad face.
Say hi.
Hello.
Hi.
What's good?
A special cameo appearance by
the whole Smash family's here.
Yeah, there it is. Happy holidays from ours to yours.
Oh my gosh.
All right, there you go.
Hi.
Oh my God.
Right, cool.
She has this cute face. If she thinks that you're laughing at her, even though you're not, you're just laughing because she's cute, but she catches on, and if she thinks that she's being laughed at, so this is a different cry than when she's hungry or when she's tired, and it's just this why are you laughing at me? And that she literally, we have it on camera now, and I'm glad I feel so bad I did it right there for everybody to see.
Did not fully cry, guys. It was very close. So
I was aiming. I was trying to get that sub 11 cry, sub 11 minutes cry.
we got damn close. We still might get there. Who the hell knows?
We still might get there.
Yeah, the timer. We got 4:50 in. 4:50 in.
But Kevin, man, it's a pleasure to have you on Spin from the Real for the first time. Yes. And like I mentioned, I did see you outside the Mint, but you were talking to people, and I'm like, who the hell am I just gonna walk up to this dude? I don't want to bother you. No, and I saw you're being so nice to legitimately everyone you saw that weekend. But I'm like, I don't want to go bug him. He's been like, you know, like no
problem at all.
Yo, at least you didn't have to meet him while having imposter syndrome in the green room.
No. I mean, right before.
Wasn't that just before I came out when I met you?
I met you right before you came out, and then I met you during intermission, and then I came back and we talked a little bit after everything happened.
Yeah, intermission. Yeah, and I remember I was like, I don't know if anybody's supposed to. I was hiding the whole time. In the rafters, like Phantom of the Opera, and for a while, even the people in the green room didn't know if I was there or not. So, I mean, my friends that are in the league knew, but there were some people that, like, when I went back down, one of the competitors, I won't say.
I think it was Jesse. It was Jesse.
Name drop.
Was it? Oh yeah. Well, there was a competitor who I won't say because it was a nice private moment, but like I had the full outfit on, like with the gloves and the hoodie, and he just came up to me, and I had just met him, and he was just like, "Man, this is badass. Good to see you back," which was a cool moment, you know. But I don't think he knew until the second I had the hoodie on, and he was like, "Wait, he's gearing up. What's he doing?"
And that hoodie was perfect. With the Phoenix, that was amazing.
It was between that and I had a Return of the Jedi one, so it's like it was going to be either that, you know, both kind of represented like a return, but
I think the Phoenix with everything was 100% the way that was. I was in Texas on a different vacation with like my husband and friends that I should have been paying more attention to than watching Spectacular from my phone, and we were getting ready for dinner at that point, and I'm just sitting in the hotel room getting ready, and all of a sudden Chandru's on there and he's doing his thing, and then the lights go, and I'm just like, what's that? And I sobbing, and my husband's like, what are you? He's like, why did I get you into this? Like, what have I done to you? And I'm like, so amazing.
That's amazing.
It was great.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna lose it. I had, like, Frank was like, I remember like early on when early ideas of this was going to happen, he's like, well, if you ever come back, you know, you're going to cry on stage. And I was like, yeah. And I did my best. I think I held it together pretty well. I was pretty in the zone for the promo and stuff, but yeah, when I saw
you crushed it.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. When I saw my wife and kid there, when I was making my entrance, I point up at them. And then during my speech, when I mentioned them and I saw them again, like those are the two parts where I almost broke, but I kind of hung on. So.
Yo. And I definitely want to like break that whole day down, because I mean, like you mentioned not too long ago, folks who were participating or they're already there in the green room had no idea what the hell you were doing or if you were even there.
Yeah.
But before that, like when I don't know if you've said it on other shows or if you've said it publicly, like when you found out you were coming back, like,
yeah, I mean,
that had to have been a whole thing for you.
Yeah. I had to pull a little bit of I don't want to spoil No Way Home, but there was an actor that like vehemently denied something about that movie in the press. And I remember I told Christian, I'm like, I'm lying to people. Like, cause I knew for about a month. So when I went on Happy Hour, Jill knew ahead of time cause I'm close with her, but like the others didn't. And when they were asking me about it, I'm like, yeah, I don't know. It might be a little too soon or whatnot. And she had to like text me afterwards, like, did something change? Or I'm like, good, my acting worked. But I hated to lie to anyone. And I actually tried to avoid fibbing. I just said that, you know, I tried not to like, so it wasn't a lie per se, where I was just kind of avoiding answering it, but where I was just like, yeah, I don't know. It might seem too soon or whatnot. So, but yeah, I've known, I mean, it goes back to like when I was fighting cancer in the first place, and Christian called me and he knew I was having a down during my chemo phase. Like it was 3 weeks of hell, 1 week off basically for like 9 months. So one of my darkest days or whatever, he had called me and, it's 9 minutes. Maybe I can get her to cry. I got 2 minutes to say the story. But he had called me and he was like, I know you're really feeling it. And he had left this voice memo and he was like, just imagine it. The lights are going to drop out one day at a live event and the chat crowd's going to chant your name and you're going to come down and make an entrance. He's like, you just keep fighting, bro, and we'll get you there. So it was very, those kind of things. And like when Ellis would hit me up every Monday, Molly Mondays, where he'd send me pictures of his dog and just make sure I was doing good. Because his dad was a oncologist, like a worked on cancer patients. So Mark growing up was all around cancer patients because his dad was helping him, So his book I read every time I was at chemo and stuff like that. And so I feel like I know his family pretty well, but just through that book. But yeah, he definitely, those two in my off season, and of course Kaiser taking me to radiation and stuff, like it was definitely, some people close to me saw, and you guys did too, actually, during the Smash-a-thon was really rough time. And like that held me together for that weekend. And that was a weekend I needed it because it was the first weekend where the radiation burns really kicked in, and it was physical assault every time. Like it was tough, but physically assaulting the burns everywhere down there. So that, and then just through the chemo was different with the IV because that just felt like they poison you. They kill all the cancer cells and your real cells too, but your real cells can build back up. Your cancer cells can't come back. So you're basically killing yourself and hoping that all your cells come back when you're doing chemo. It's like poisoning your body. So those two dark phases, but people that were in my life, they came together and made sure they kind of lifted me up. But to go back to your original question, that was a pipe dream for me at first. I thought maybe it will never happen because I had dark times, and of a voice memo of Christian literally almost predicting moment for moment how it went at Spectacular. And then to be able to have that come true and, embracing him backstage and knowing that what he said, all those months earlier when I was at my darkest, and then here I am in remission and it went over well. It was just a great moment. So did I get there? 11:52.
Oh, you got there like 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, 2 minutes ago.
She's been like, you see a single one here and there, and she's been trying to hold him back.
God damn it!
I have another. I have the home run too. Like, so one of the fans actually, Roberto Suarez. He's on Twitter. Roberto Suarez. I don't know what his handle is, but I actually had this in my bag at Spectacular too, and I had it on me when I had my surgery. So he actually had cancer and beat it. And he wore this during his chemo treatments. And then when his daughter got it and she beat it, and she wore it during her chemo treatments. And then he freaking sent me this with a letter that made my wife and I cry for 2 days. But just giving me the power, I don't know too, there it is. That's for you, Roberto. But he gave me this, and it was with all my Smasher gear, and that was just, he was another, the fans all came together obviously in the Smash-a-thon, and then everybody just touched my family, however, even if it was just a word or everything, any tweet. I tried to, sometimes when I was in the chemo chair, I tried to reply to every single response of anybody that gave me anything on Twitter or Facebook, just because I knew that they're going out of their way to keep me positive, so yeah. But yeah, it was a rough year, but it's all good now. I'm feeling good and feeling strong and healthier every day. So
that's awesome.
And now my daughter's walking back in the door.
I love this so much. I'm just gonna.
You bring up the Smash-a-thon, Chris. Didn't we do top 5 Kevin Smets moments?
We did 5 Smets matches.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I remember. Yeah,
we were on at 5 o'clock Pacific, and
in the morning.
Yeah,
in the morning. Yeah.
It was super rad though, and not
I
as
watched
rad
it
as,
all. I watched it all. Just so you
and
know.
it was such a great time.
Tired by the end.
Well, I didn't I ended up watching it all, but I remember Justin Hamilton was on with Bador, and they were talking Star Wars at 2 a.m, and I had woken up and I had to use, and I was on in my room all day, but unmuted when I was trying to go to sleep or whatnot. But at 2 or 3 in the morning, I remember just crawling out of the bathroom after just getting freaking physically assaulted by the pain and stuff. And just hearing Justin Hamilton in Attack of the Clones, my favorite Jedi in there. That's a horrible impersonation, but
I think you sound just like him.
That's pretty spot on.
When you're out there in the galaxy and you got Chewie by your side, and I'm just on. This is the guest room because my oncologist wanted me in a different room, especially when we had an infant, because I needed him to sleep, and an infant's waking up all the time. So that night I was here. But I just remember half dying on the bed, just hearing hearing Justin Hamilton talk about a galaxy far, far away. Not to give you guys, not to give promotion to the other. But again, I know you guys are 5 a.m, but you were here on mute while I was sleeping, and I ended up catching up on everything the next day. So it really helped my family.
And I have to say, I'm a baby of digital. I've only been around through like the recent, like within like the last 6 or 7 months. So it's honestly been really fun going back and watching your matches from the beginning.
Studio
no, it's been honestly going back and just watching matches in general has been really fun because everyone has their opinions of like what matches I need to go and watch versus like just doing the whole watch through. But being able to kind of go back and watch you just literally come in and just like, I think one of my favorite moments was after your one match where, you light the guy. I can't remember what you want, but you just ended with, you just hit the table. You're like, give me Kalinowski, and then just walk off. And I'm like, oh, he's so
that was on
cool.
My birthday, actually. That was
it really?
It was against Hector Navarro.
Yeah,
and it was super early in the morning. And then there was the MCU exhibition match after the lunch break. So funny backstory on that. So I was pretty confident about where I was and that I could beat Hector, but it's a lot riding on it. I had like a birthday party scheduled that night. It's like, if I would have lost to Hector, like that would have been really bummer. And then I had this birthday party later, but that moment was kind of improvised. I didn't know if I was going to do that going into it. And then I just was feeling it when I felt like a knockout was imminent. And I just only because right when we were recording our green screen interviews right before, because it was all pre-taped and stuff, Christian just said, hey, so you get Kalinowski at Collision if you win today. And like, that's the first I had officially heard it. So then in my head, the wheels were turning. I'm like, oh, I got to do something. And so, so I won. So now I'm on cloud 9. We go across the street to the bar or whatnot. And then my friends are getting me kind of tipsy because it's my birthday. But there was an MCU match. And of course I wanted to take it serious because Rachel was in it and Kalinowski was in it. But it was also my birthday. So I kind of got a little buzzed. So if you watch that match, you'll see that I'm a couple, I have a couple beers in me. I wasn't like smashed, but I had a couple beers in me and I was feeling pretty good on my birthday. And I played real loose during that match and it was fun. I made it to the very end until, Sean beat me at the end, but it was fun.
That's awesome. It really was. I think that's probably one of my most favorite moments other than obviously coming back at Spectacular. That's definitely right up there for sure.
The whole journey that you've had up to this, and I mean, you've been public about it, about like the notes that Christian gave you, and then I mean, teaming up with Kaiser, you and Kaiser rocked the league when you first showed up, because I don't think anyone was ready for the dynamic that you and Kaiser had. Like it was and from all my wrestling marks out there, like the Heyman Lesnar dynamic that y'all had. Like you spoke, but like Kaiser was the one really like talking his shit to other competitors, and you're like, I'm gonna go to the table. I'll show you what I'm capable of doing, and I'm gonna and we'll go from there. When did you meet Kaiser, if I can ask? I
knew him. He's one of those you always say like once you're like in your later years, you don't meet best friends. You kind of already have them, but I met him like I met him probably 3 or 2 years before I was in the Schmoedown, and we worked together. He was a producer on a couple shows that I worked on, and then we kind of near the edit bay a lot with your producer. You kind of bond, and we realized we had a lot in common, but we realized we were also different in a way too, which I think kind of helped us and really got us to like just wanting to get to know each other more and stuff like that. And I just remember right before my audition, and I told him I was going to audition as like the Macho Man. He's like, all right, man. And I remember he sent Christian a text because he knew Christian, and he was just like, my boy's going to audition for you today. Treat him well or whatnot. Like just the earliest, the remembrance of that. But like, then I kind of joked with him. I brought him to the award show, and I said, you should be my manager when you come in, or like, I kind of just had high hopes that there would be something for Kaiser in there, not even maybe with me. And then Christian was the one at the award show was like, yeah, you could be a manager or whatnot. And then we never heard anything else. And then the call sheet got sent, and it just said Smets, also with Kaiser. And that was like the confirmation, like, cool, we're going to do this. And we came in like we weren't any ideas of like we're going to be good or bad. We were just going to be us. We didn't want to be mustache twirling villains. We weren't going to be kissing babies either. And I think, like you said, the Brock Lesnar, Paul Heyman dynamic, I think Kaiser would tell you for him, in his mind was more the LOD, like Legion of Doom, and he actually knew those guys growing up. So his homage like with the like is straight from LOD, from fans that know Legion of Doom, Hawk and Animal. And I think they'd be proud, because I think for Kaiser has really kind of encapsulated that. And yeah, we were like, let's just be over the top 80s wrestlers, 90s wrestlers. I didn't think there was anything like that in the. I mean, there was actually characters, and I think Roca, larger than life wrestling type character. But no, there was no characters like ours, where it was just this like really, like we're talking about, we're gonna like wipe your blood from one side of the stage to the other. And I think I said that about Jay Washington, and it was like the ridiculousness of like how we're gonna cut these promos, like we're gonna fight them, and then I'm gonna go answer questions about Harry Potter. So yeah, we went in, kind of just really on the heels of others that made it successful, like Roca, the characters that had come through there, and like legends like Kalinowski, and for me, like Rachel and Mara, and the character work by Snyder and all that. Like we did, and of course I cannot forget to mention Andrew Guy and Ben Bateman. We saw them at a live event, or I did, and and then at the award show, I told Kaiser, I'm like, watch these guys. This is what we need to be. And that was the same one where Guy wins the villain heel of the year award, and he's saying F you to everybody. And I was like it's going all in on a character, and I want to do that. And I couldn't be any more different than the Smasher character, especially when we were kind of teetering on being a heel, and so it was great to do that with my best friend, and I love him. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to those interactions again. I think the new Smasher, Smasher 2.0, has gone through hell and back. I don't think I'll be just the silent one, lurking in the background. I think it'll be less Lesnar and Heyman and more how LOD was, where they both had something to say. And I think the fans are going to like what we're coming up with. I want to go all in on character next year. So I want to have fun. When you're taken away from this and you can't come back for a year, and it was really hard. And so as much as the hard work is, and, watching some of these bad movies 50 times again, and the studying and stuff like that, but like, I'm not going to take it for granted. And I don't think anyone in the league currently takes it for granted, but sometimes you have the hard days where you're like, oh, is it even worth it? And is it even worth it? And like, I'm going to be a real dangerous Smasher next year, because I'm embracing everything. I'm going to embrace the character even more. I'm embracing the hard work that it takes to get where I was even more. And I have full support of my wife and my daughter, who's walking in my room again, but full support of my wife. And I'm just going to go all in, and it's going to be a blast. I think Smasher 2.0 is going to be, it's going to be something.
I mean, it's funny that you talked about you and Kaiser at the awards, because unfortunately we did get the notification today that the awards are going to be digital. But let's be honest, your moment was probably going to win Moment of the Year, especially.
Roca retired. That's a pretty big moment.
It's a pretty big moment.
Yeah, but Smasher
I'm a
came
Roca
back.
fan, but Smasher came back, and everyone completely forgot about that. And it's just weird to think. Roca's probably going to end up with the Yodi. Let's be honest. But Moment of the Year, without a doubt, was probably you coming back. I was up on the balcony for the second half of the show, and
cool.
Chris and I's buddy Nick. There are 3 players that he loves, and you're one of them. So I'm sitting up there and I'm recording it, and I send it to him afterwards, and he's like, "I hate you so much right now."
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I couldn't even tell some people. Like, first, it was early on. We didn't know if we were. Christian was like, maybe we won't even tell the other competitors, and I'm like, I'm already gonna have to hide out the whole time. Like, let me hang out with some people in the back rafters, But
just let me out a little bit, please.
And that day, right? Like you talked about it a little bit earlier, like folks, like they saw you around, but like no one really knew what was going on, or at least some folks had an idea.
Yeah.
But you're over here sitting on this secret for months, and you show up that day to the Globe Theater, and once you get the hoodie on, you put the gloves on. Is that when it starts becoming real?
Yeah.
That you're actually doing this?
Yeah, and Kaiser was there, and he starts laughing. We were in the green room, and he was like, "Look at this guy! It's like 2019 all over again. This guy hasn't missed a beat." And that just like further like got me in the zone. And then like I was given a couple moments on my own down where the expo was. That's near the stairwell where they bring you up through the back, and it was just me, and I just kind of sat there where that stand up of Jen Sturger was, like just right in that area, and I was just kind of getting in the zone. And it's funny, like the once I put the hoodie on and once I put the whole the persona on, I really do get in the zone. And I think that's probably what helped me not break character and be able to do the promo without crying and whatnot. Like, and I think that to be honest, hurt me in the digital age. I did well in those exhibitions because they were fun, like the Back to the Future one and the Champion of Champions. But you know, against Chandru, and it's just no slight on him. He was, like I said in the promo, he was the better man that day. But you know, when you're just sitting in front of a computer, like it's just hard to get in the zone when I'm sitting here in my loafers with the hoodie. But still, like when I was down there, when I put the gloves on and the hoodie on, and I was around in the green room, and people saw that I was getting in the zone. Like, yeah, it was good to be back. It felt like, honestly, Kaiser was right. It felt like we didn't miss a beat. It felt like 2019 again. So I missed the whole digital age. If you think about it, like aside from those exhibitions early on in 2020, but I missed all of season 8, you know, season 7. I only had that one match, and then that was when it was in digital. And so it's crazy that I really missed that big chunk of the digital era, you know. So it was tough to be away, you know.
Now the whole Chandru everything, like y'all have, you know, y'all have traded words, and to me he's the biggest heel that Schmoedown has right now, and it probably will eclipse ever by the end of next year, especially when he plays you. And I told him out after Spectacular, I'm like, I do not envy you having to play Kevin Smets in his first match back. Like, God bless you for being like, you know what? Yeah, I'll do it. Now, if we can peel back the curtain a little bit, like, was that a conversation you and Chandru had about what was going to happen on stage? Like, especially once you absolutely obliterated him verbally, and you killed him in front of hundreds of people?
I'll cut you off there. I don't want to lift the curtain too much, but
okay.
Yeah, like, you know, as in anything, like I'll just say this. I applaud the guy to stand up there. I mean, this is why he's a heel of the year, and like you just stand up there and take it. You know that he knew what his job was that day, and it wasn't about him. He knew that he was up there to set the table, and those people were cheering me loud because of him, not just because of me. And so I really do, you know, lifting the curtain on that much. Like, I really do applaud him on that. I think he's done his job so well, and you know, like I really respect him and gotten to know him, and you know, lifting the curtain up as far as that goes. Like, he's met my wife and my kid, so you know. But when the cameras are on and next season happens, like it is going to be, we understand the responsibility it is on us to continue this rivalry, and we both are on the same mind of wanting to make it as big and as dramatic and fun as possible. So but yeah, the conversations were had, and like he knows how much I appreciated him doing that. You know what I mean? It was a big thing, a big moment for me, and I understood that in order to get there, he had to lay the groundwork, and he had to lay the groundwork all year. To be honest, like he had to. And he carried that, and so I'm very blessed that I get to have a dance partner in Chandru, and he knows that too. So, you know, I can't say I love the guy. I'll get an angry text from Christian, but Chandru knows how I feel about him. So
it was and again, going back to like watching your previous matches and seeing Chandru and how he's evolved from like just being this like smiley guy to like full blown, you know, Joker makeup on stage at Spectacular, yelling "I hate you" to everybody. Like it's
so good,
amazing. He's so good.
Him shouting "I hate you" and then "I want to fight you" mentally is just the greatest thing ever.
It was amazing. But I kind of want to get into back to what we were discussing a little bit more in the beginning. Earlier today, you had posted that, which I think is kind of like, and also kind of what we've talked about. So it's kind of serendipitous, I guess is the word. I don't know if that's the right word, but you had posted today how 1 year ago today you were starting your IV chemo treatment
right before Christmas.
Wild. And I kind of want to, if you know, go back to, you know, everything with starting that journey and what it all was kind of like in the beginning, and you've made such a big platform for preventative screenings, and just wanted to kind of chat with you on that.
Yeah, I mean, it was important to me, and actually, that was one big thing about coming back too. Like, I know how much hard work it's going to be, and I know that I'm putting my legacy on the line. Like, I think I came in like a buzzsaw, and I did really well. And I think the IG division has gotten so much better since I've been gone that coming back, yeah, I risk coming back and having maybe a mediocre season or even getting a couple losses here and there. I think the days of, I mean, right now Mike has proven me wrong because he's beaten everybody, but I think the days of someone being as dominant as Smasher was when he first came on, it's tough with the new crop and the old crop still there. You got Mara and you got Kalinowski and now, of course, with Parker there and Amaru doing so well. And I mean, everybody has raised their game, right? So the why come back? Someone I remember, one of my friends who's not a big Schmoedown fan, he's like, why would you come back? Like, you're kind of on. And I said, because I want to keep that platform too. I do not forget all the fans and what they did for me during my off time, whether it was the Smash-a-thon, whether it was the fundraiser, or just the love and support. And I wanted to come back and give that back. And if that means I come back and I go 0-7, but every time after that match, I'm making sure people know that to get checked early and to use that platform. By the way, I'm not going to go 0-7. I'm going to be a champion probably next year, just so everybody knows that. But and that's the goal. But yeah, I'm going to use that platform. And yeah, starting out early on, I knew there was a decision I had to make. I had to retire. I knew that. And I decided, was I going to take people on this journey with me, or I was going to kind of keep it to myself? And I decided that, and almost selfishly, it felt a little therapeutic for me to be public about it. And then I just realized how many people that I was reaching when people started messaging me saying I got checked early. I found something. Like, I would say 150 people emailed me or messaged me or tweeted at me saying they got checked, and 5 people caught something early.
Wow.
And one of them, actually, their mother caught breast cancer right there. She said, I'll get checked for breast cancer. Why not, while I'm there? And they found it too. And again, you just wait a couple months later, you never know if stage 3 goes to stage 4 or if stage 1 goes to stage 2 and make things a lot more difficult. So I decided, it's very important to me when I come back too, that I'm going to keep that banner going. I'm going to make sure everybody knows that I'm young and I got it. I'm 42. Like, I think I'm 42. I always forget. Once I turned 40, I forgot what age I
mean, don't you want to forget after that? So like,
I feel like, yeah, or it's
30,
because
so
I'm really
fine.
old and it's just, yeah, senile. But yeah, I'm definitely under the age that they tell you to get screened. And I remember even my practitioner saying, maybe just wait till after your baby, you can get colonoscopy. And I went to my wife about that, and she's like, no, it would probably be easier to do it before, let's be honest, before the baby came. And then I decided, yeah. And, but yeah, I'm going to, like you said, like those early days, I think it was very therapeutic kind of going public with it, because I knew if I'm going to go through all this hell, I'd like to make sure that maybe my struggle will mean that someone else doesn't have to struggle. And that was very important to me. And so that's why I continue. I used to get worried and be like, I hope people don't think I'm tweeting just because I want sympathy and stuff like that. Like, I just wanted people to follow my journey. And I even still have bad days. I have 4 major dental procedures that I have to go through, because like my teeth look great here, right? You can't tell, but underneath and like in behind, because the chemo, it destroys enamel. It destroys everything on your body, fingernails, nails, skin, hair, everything. And I've been off chemo for 6 months, but now all of the effects on my teeth, like it's crazy the amount of dental work I have to get done. And so I decided I'm going to, even though I'm in remission, like I still have tough days, and I'm going to make sure that I keep letting people know that my tough days are there. And it's because I want to remind them to get checked themselves. And that's why I did that. To answer your question, I did that post today because it was a year ago that I started the IV treatment. And I just wanted, it was preventable. If I would have gotten checked probably a year prior than when I got checked, it probably wouldn't have been stage 3. It would have been stage 2. So you just never know. Get checked.
Yeah. And we bring that up because you and I had a conversation,
Yes.
and this is going to be hard. I've never talked about this publicly, right? Like I've mentioned it to you that I was thinking about it, but for something that I've kept within just my family for the last, literally it'll be 10 years in February. I was 25 when I got the blood work, but my family has has hereditary ovarian cancer. So my mom has the genetic has the gene for it. Her mom had it. I never really met my grandmother because she passed away before she got diagnosed at 50 with ovarian cancer and passed away at 51 from it. So anyway, with that being said, when you have a family member or a parent who has the BRCA1 or 2 gene, their children have a 50-50 shot. I actually found my original paperwork, by the way,
Wow.
from when I got it done. And because of family history, and my mom is one of 7, and out of her 6 siblings, I think she's 5 of them, I think 5 out of the 7 all have been tested, and 4 of them have the BRCA1 gene, and I have it as well. So I've known for 10 years that it's something that I have. And you talk about preventative screenings, and it means things like getting mammograms done on a yearly basis, ultrasounds done on a yearly basis, CA-125s done on a yearly basis. And I've never regretted getting this blood work done. And it was wild because right when I got it done too, I was in a brand new job at the time at the same OBGYN. Actually, the doctor who did my blood work a few years ago passed away from pancreatic cancer.
Yeah.
So it's wild to see his name on this paperwork. But I was in a brand new relationship with the man that's actually now my husband. So, you dating someone for a month and then I'm like, oh, let me go get this blood work done that just changed my entire life.
Yeah.
Literally. But I think it's something that it needs to be said because men can carry it too. And there's so much out there and so much information that is so important that I now know after a certain point in time, the preventative surgeries that I'm going to have because I have I want to say 64%, as long as I take, oral continence, all this other stuff. If I do certain things, I still have a 64% chance of getting ovarian cancer at some point in my life before 50. So, now I'm 35 and these are conversations that I'm having with my husband of hey, we got to start looking into, let's see what our insurance has. Cause we got to start looking into these, these preventative surgeries to see what can be done.
Well, I would think also for you, when you're trying to look at the bright side of things, getting these constant screenings is going to be good for you because there's a reason that you're going to get checked up now. And if God forbid, it does happen and that 64% hits, you're going to catch it early and you're going to beat it. And you have a whole community here that's going to back you up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not going to happen though, because you're going to.
No.
Yeah. So.
But it puts a lot of things into perspective. And it's even crazier. I have a sister who she's on the other 50%. She doesn't have the gene.
Wow.
So it's it's so wild, right? And I've had, the scares with the mammograms where they think they found something and I had to sit and get the biopsy and wait for those results and panic quietly, in my bedroom. And it's definitely something that is so important to talk about that I don't think I would have ever have brought up if it wasn't for, at least on a public thing like this, if it wasn't for this community, and honestly, talking with you. So
I appreciate that. Yeah.
God damn it.
It's brave of you to share it. It's like I said, I think for me, it came easy to talk about it, but I understand why people wouldn't want to talk about it. And I think it's brave of you to do it because it's going to remind people that it's not just colon cancer to get checked. It's everything because it's going to literally, we're taking care of our own. I think they call it scanxiety. I have that for the next 3 years until I get officially cured. I get blood work every 3 months. I get blood work and I get a CT scan every 6 months. And those are the rough times. And you're gonna have that now probably for a while. And so, lean on your friends and your family, and we got your back. And I'm here for you when you need it. And I think it's brave of you sharing that. It was funny, not funny, but while you were talking, Daria Shishakova was in the chat and I know exactly what happened because she's watching it in the other room with her iPad, and she probably had it open and my daughter pressed buttons because every time she sees an iPad, So you're literally, I don't want you thinking she was doing some emoji cute thing. That was my daughter slamming on the keyboard
that.
of the iPad. She likes any keyboard she sees, she likes to slam it down. So, yeah, Daria will have a laugh.
That message that I had to unsend to you because one of my children I work with got a hold of my phone. I was like, just doing whatever. It's fine.
Yeah, and that's funny that it happened to you now too. Or
yeah, it's great. But yeah, no, I mean, hereditary cancers are hereditary for a reason. And there's so many things that if you have a family history, at least the least you can do is just like talk to your doctor and figure it out. I know, honestly, colon cancer is one of those that they do genetic testing for.
It was. I knew it. Yeah.
I love that so much. So, that's another one that there's a lot of, my uncle who also had colon cancer, they did the genetic screening for it and it wasn't anything genetic, but it was, my mom's brother, and they needed to make sure that it wasn't another situation like that. But it's
I had to go through, they check you for, I think it's like 92 different hereditary things. And I was really worried then too. Cause then I was like, oh my God, if I just gave this to my child who just got born and now she's predisposed to having this. And yeah, I broke down in tears when I got the report back that it was not hereditary or it was not something genetic. Who knows how I got it? Was it diet? Was it just the environment? Was it a paint that was in my room when I was growing up? Even the doctors say they can't really pin it down, but you can play the percentages. And for me, it was probably, a little of the diet. And, I'm trying to eat and do that better. But, it's all preventative, but it's not at the same time. You can be one of the healthiest guys in the world, and then it could still hit you, and it could hit you stronger than ever before. So I don't think, it sucks, Allison, when you feel like, it's not fair. It's like you got predisposed to, it's like you didn't have any choice in the matter. It just means that it just builds, you're going to be stronger for it. And I think you're going to have nervous times when you get those scans and when you have to go in. But I think, like I said, if you're trying to see any positive, is catching it early is going to be more likely for you because there's a reason you're going to get checked out all the time. Whereas for me, if I didn't have my wife, like even when I was having symptoms, I was just like, that's fine. Dude, even my general practitioner looked at the symptoms at first and misdiagnosed me and said it was something else until we actually went in there with the colonoscopy. So, it sucks, but I know you're strong just from our conversations and, it's not an easy thing to share. So I appreciate you doing that. And especially, with me on here, that was, so I got your back. Like I told you.
That's all I ever wanted. Thank you. No, I'm glad we got to chat about that. Yay.
No, and Allison, she asked that, you didn't ask me, but you were like, yo, like is this like appropriate? I'm like, of course, like if anyone's gonna want to hear it, it's gonna be Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Especially that like both of y'all, I commend the both of you guys because I like just when Kevin, when you first shared your diagnosis, it rocked this whole space. And I think that's Matt. I don't know if
I texted you that day because I was watching it live, and you're like, "Huh?"
It's like it was nuts because you don't hear about that.
I'm listening to you. Sorry, she's just coming in.
No, you're fine.
I love her so much.
This whole space, I think I didn't realize how tight it was until you shared this very personal bit with everybody, and everyone rallied to come to support you. Then the Smash-a-thon came not too long after that, and shout out to our friends at Call to Action for really taking that by the reins and inviting everybody to do it. It was nuts. And here we are, all this time later, and you're back. And you still have to, you said you're getting blood tests done and doing your scans, but holy shit, when I said inspirational to a lot of people, it's just in general, just to keep fighting, and we've seen that from you, and we've seen it from the both of y'all, sharing your piece when folks may find it uncomfortable, and not like that. It's nuts. And I hope people, I know Jake said in the chat earlier, has no real reason to not get scanned.
Jake,
or go get tested, they'll do it,
Literally,
same thing for me, I'm in that same boat. I have no reason to not do it. So, and
you can take advantage while you still got to wear masks.
Yeah.
It's easier for them to go up your ass when you're wearing a mask, so they can't see them and they can't see you.
I mean, They
Duly noted.
They start putting you under twilight anesthesia now. That's what I had to get one done recently. Like, I'll say it. I had to get one done. I ended up in the hospital with some GI symptoms, and I had to get one done. And they were like, "Here's your little." They're like, "Here you go." And I fell asleep, and then I woke back up, and I was like, "Oh, we're all done." They're like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "Yeah, that was fine." The prep's the worst. It's the prep going into it. That's
the prep is like you're on an episode of Fear Factor, and it's that second part where you have to do something disgusting. The drink.
So bad.
Like seaweed, it tastes like seaweed mixed with like rotten egg. And
can't you get away with drinking ginger ale though?
No.
You could but here's the thing: if you don't clear it out, and they're up there, and it's not clear out, you wake up and they're like, "Hey, you didn't do your job," and then you got to go back and you got to do it again. So the cleanser that I had, it does not taste good, but man, it works, and it kind of seals the deal.
They mixed mine with a little bit of apple juice, so it tasted a little bit better. I had that to or like a little Gator. That was bad. It was not fun. Yeah. But it's important, so do it.
Damn right. And I do want to, before we do that, I want to clarify. Sugar, we can pull up the comment again. And not only was C2A, but it was Sean Sullivan, PJ, definitely. Maxwell, and many other folks. Like it was definitely a group effort, and it was a community effort. And we were just, and maybe I said C2A because those are the folks who invited us.
Honestly, Paul Preston and Kaiser really
right
that because I didn't want at first a GoFundMe, and then they decided that they didn't care what I wanted, and because they knew what I needed and what my family needed, and it really kept us afloat. Like, to be honest, which was, and I was blown away by everybody, and I still am, and that's why everything I do in the league, it's going to be for the fans. Like, I don't think I'm coming back as a heel. Christian made a joke.
I think no matter how hard you try, you can try to come back as a heel.
I tried to go heel at Spectacular and it didn't work. No, the original Spectacular. I tried to turn on the fans, but they were chanting Smasher, and I was just like, well, like funny side story to that is I knew what I was going to say, and then we didn't really know what Mike was going to say, and his preamble was very similar to the same beats that I was planning on going to heel, win or lose. And so, I mean, my dad was in the crowd, and my original plan to go heel was to even say, like, point my dad out and be like, "Dad, you weren't even there for me during Don't Tell Peter," and like just totally turned bad. But then they're chanting Smasher, Smasher when I made my entrance, and I remember looking at Christian like, how am I going to fully turn to the dark side here? But Christian made a joke and said, I think he's like, you can go in front of the stage and probably toss a bag of your urine on the front row, and they'll still be like, yeah.
Literally,
I'll never do that. But
it's like the Stone Cold Steve Austin, like the Attitude Era. Like no one was supposed to. You're supposed to be big, but everyone loved him. Like,
and another inside story of that is Paul Oyama premiered the weekend before me. We had taped our matches, I think, on different days, but his match aired first. And I remember, people were like, "Oh, a heel," and like another sunglass. Remember, at first they were kind of critical of him, and they got to know him and then loved him, obviously, as a heel. But at first they were like, "Another sunglass-toting heel." Why is with good cause? People were like, "Why is every fan leaguer coming in like a bad guy? Like Chance came in as a bad guy, and now Paul with the bad guy. Why is every fan leaguer? There's good guys out there." And so then, meanwhile, I'm sitting here because I was in the fan leagues briefly, and I was like, dude, I'm going to come in and they're going to be like, "Oh, here, another fan leaguer's a bad guy." Cause I don't shake David Moore's hand when I come out. And then he even makes a joke and says, "Hey, it was Black History Month," getting a good laugh from the crowd. And I make the entrance. And to another side story is one of the lights went down and they had to stop for a second right after my entrance. And so it's all quiet in the studio. And Christian just says to me, he said something like, after that entrance, "Man, you better back it up," or something like funny. It wasn't like aggressive, but it was like, "Damn, man, you're kind of like that entrance. You get ready." And so I was worried. I was like, "Man, here comes," because I remember thinking that in the back of my head. I'm like, "Does that come through on my entrance?" And sure enough, when the match aired, people were responsive to it, but they weren't like, "Oh, another heel." They didn't even. I don't think anybody really saw us as a heel even early on. They just thought that we were just this crazy duo that were going to come in and bust heads and not. We didn't care if you cheer us or boo us. We're just going to do our thing. You know what I mean? And I think that translated well in my journey in the Schmoedown. And, and it was just so great then to have Paul Oyama in my faction. And then when we were the dungeon, earliest formation of that. So, yeah, little side stories there on the day.
I love it. That's awesome.
All right. Well, we do have 2 Streamlabs right now. The first one is from Jesse Swift, and it said, "All the love in the world to the kind and bright folks on screen inspiring us at home. This is what good people look like. Got to get ready for our review. Much love, everyone.
Oh, thanks. Thanks.
He's the best.
Another one from Jake Yakavetta. Much love to Kevin, Allison, and everyone who shared their personal experiences with cancer. Most of us have had someone in our lives with it, but not many of us talk about it. I'll schedule a screening soon. We have too many live events that we can't miss.
That's right. Let's get it done.
Jake, I'm gonna message you every day to see if you got it. I'm gonna annoy the shit out of you.
She'll do it.
Get
Ask
your
Chris.
ass in there. Yeah.
It's gonna happen. That's how I ended up on the show. I just annoyed the shit out of everybody, and then they're like, "Fine, you can come be on Spin from the
No,
Reel."
that's definitely
Not it at all.
Nuh-uh. Now to give me to watch The Rocketeer, that's exactly what
I was about to say,
That's what I
Rocketeer.
did to get Chris to watch The Rocketeer. I was like, "Did you watch it yet? How about now?" Did you
I
watch
watched
it
it
now?
on the plane. It's spectacular, and I have no regrets.
Great
But-
flick.
Yes, it
Oh,
is.
the
Yes,
best.
it is.
It's one of my favorites.
Kevin, before we let you out of here,
Yeah.
of course, we got to talk about the future. And we talked about it with your match with Chandru, but you've been away for a minute. And like you said, there's been a lot of new faces in Inner Geekdom. And there's a possibility, maybe, depending how things may go, you may even end up facing someone you're awfully familiar with in Robert Parker this year or this upcoming year. So, like, from the outside looking in, like, what have your thoughts been on Inner Geekdom? And you've already given us a taste, but what else can we expect from Smasher 2.0 in season 9?
Well, I think the next season is going to be it's a challenge already. I'm not going to lie, I was away from it for a year, and I purposely, from the second I was diagnosed until I found out I was in remission, I refused to watch a single IG movie, not even the ones that came out, because I was just like, A, it was nice to get the break, but B, I didn't want to hang on to any hope. So even when I knew the new movies were announced, I waited until I was in remission to even buy the movies. And I mentioned this on another show. I said, when I got the news that I was in remission, I spent $275 on as many, like, in bundles, these new movies from season 8 editions. And now, without getting into spoiler territory, season 9, they're adding another 50 or something. So you're going to hear even more movies that you haven't heard of before. So the challenge, though, is for me, is I think of it in terms of being an athlete too. When I used to train for marathons and iron teams and stuff like that and do coaching, like, I've been away for a while. So, you got to start small and kind of get your muscles back. And then you start getting muscle memory and going through, like, some of my old notes and my flashcards. I'm old school. Like, I do it old school like this. I know there's apps for it, but I kind of like I'm an old man, so I do it old. Like, I'm like Clubber Lang. I'm like Rocky in the woods, in the snow, in the mountains. But just going through all of my old stuff and all the base knowledge that I have. It's crazy. I joke and say if I would have put my energy into rocket science or something else, I could have done a lot more good for the world. But instead, I remember all these details from Star Trek and Harry Potter and all the base. So it's been just diving back in now that I know that a return is imminent. Getting these new movies under my belt, that has been the next step. But think of it. So my challenge is I got to because it's been a year. I got to reacquaint myself with all the old stuff and get as good as I was before, because I don't want to, if I didn't think I could do this, I wouldn't come back. And then now, there's over for me. I think there's over since my last match. There's, I think, 142 or 132 new movies since my return. Now everybody got acquainted with like 80 new movies last season, and they were working on that. So for me, it's getting the first 200 movies down, and now this new 142, because I think there's like now 350 or 400 movies, whatever the numbers are. The challenge is reacquainting myself with the old stuff, making sure I got that base, and then moving on to learning these new ones. And that has been what I've been doing. And, needless to say, every day I'm getting better. And it's crazy because it's only, it's Adam. What do you call it? Christmas Adam? That was funny. By the way.
That's what I call it. Yeah, that's what we
Christmas
call it.
Adam.
That's
December.
yeah. That's what we call it.
December 23rd. A match for me. I don't think any matches start until February. I don't know what their plan is or what the schedule is, but I'm on schedule for what I need to do. I have a very specific way of how I get into my training. It comes from my being coaching marathon teams, and I know that a brain is a muscle too, and building up and doing the things that I need to do and getting myself to peak, and then staying at that peak right around when that match happens, because there is a peak. And if you peak too early, you try to hang on to it, you get burnt out. If you peak too soon or if you peak too late, then you're not ready for it. So it's getting in that sweet spot. And so it's been fun. It's been challenging and it's daunting. I think some of the things I used to do training, I can't do anymore because there's just too many movies. And as far as the future with the roster, I'm just excited. It's funny because, you know, there's all these new players, but here I'm going to play Chandru again for my third match, right? Which that'll be my 9th match in IG, which means I've played him a third of the matches of my career. So that's fun. Especially with a lunatic like that who's so good. But they offered me, or there was early discussions about a tune-up match instead, or maybe going up against an incoming rookie and you do one of those kind of spectacle matches where I just go in, and not saying that it would have been a foregone conclusion, but they try to set me up with someone that I could probably defeat easily, and I didn't want any part of that. I wanted to pick up where I resumed. I didn't want a title match. I didn't want a number 1 contender match either. I didn't want any of that. I thought it was interesting story to tell once Chandru lost to Mike, that here you have this lunatic character who is on a losing streak now. There's no way he wants to lose again, right? He just doesn't want to lose after losing to Mike and losing again, further keeping himself away from that title hunt. And then with our history, there's no way that I want my match coming back to lose against him a second time in a row, the last 2 matches, right? So there's so much stakes on the line with this match between me and him. And I think sometimes the best villains are villains that believe in what they're doing. And I think he's going to believe in what he's doing is the right thing, even though he's a crazy person. And I think for me, it's going to be just as important, and the stakes have never been higher. And I'm excited to do that. And I'm ready to go. My comeback is a multi-step plan, just like it would be for any athlete coming back and getting their feet under me. And, it's going to be a big victory. The second I get to say, when they say, "Are you ready?" and I say, "I'm on the mic, I'm ready," that's step 1. And that's going to be a huge victory for me, win or lose that day. The rest of the roster, I can't wait. Saul, I didn't mention Saul earlier, but Saul, I think me and Saul would be gold in a promo. I think leading up to that, we'd be very intense. And Amaru, I'm a big fan of. Watching him, I didn't watch too many matches last season when I started missing it because it was just too hard on me mentally. But I did watch Collision, and I remember reaching out to him because I just thought he looked like he was having so much fun up there. And we got to remind ourselves to do that. And I think I lost a little sight of that. When I wanted to be a fighting champion, and then I couldn't defend because I couldn't play Mara in New York, and then I couldn't play in Houston. It was Chandru, and then it was going to be in Orlando with Chandru, and it didn't happen. There was all this pressure, and then to play behind a computer, and after studying all season long and then having my match finally in August, it was tough. And that loss was tough. And then the news right after that was tough. So I don't take it for granted coming back. Like it definitely makes me so happy that I'm going to be back and to play guys. Like, I can't wait to play Mara. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that would be an amazing match to have. Like, the females in the division too, Taylor, like I think there's going to be more, like, I think there should be. And if you could tell, I'm excited to play everybody. And then of course, it's unspoken, but it's going to happen one day. It's Kevin Smets Kalinowski 3. And that will the roof off of joint one day. And hopefully, he keeps his end of the bargain, he keeps winning, and I'll keep my end of the bargain. And maybe that'll be for a title. And then, of course, like, my homeboy, Robert Parker, too. Like, I was training with them all season long when I could, chemo permitting. And so, there's just so many, just to answer your question, there's so much to be excited about. And that makes me dangerous because I have the fun back in it. I told Kaiser it feels the most like before I debuted ever before in training because I just feel like I'm going to have this chip on my shoulder. I don't think I'm going to be favored going into the Chandru match. I shouldn't be. Let's be honest. I've been away for 15 months, 16 months, and that guy's a legend killer. So going in with that chip on my shoulder that I had after being denied in the fan leagues and just wanting to prove to everybody, like, look, I can do it. And you're going to see me do it with a whole new skill set, a whole new setup of movies. And like I said, Smasher 2.0 is going to be we're going to dial the character up, and you're going to see someone that's having fun. And when the camera's on, he's having fun, but you're going to see it's just going to be all character and all business, and take care of business and get that championship in 2022.
Hell yeah.
For anyone who has any doubt that Kevin Smets is not going to come back and
crush it,
bull through China shop, you just rewatch what he just said and inject that in your bloodstream.
I also have to say one of the other things that's been as a competitor, especially watching you compete and going back and watching these matches, how many times there was one with that Chandru championship match where you got the same question from like a previous match and you were just like, you already asked me that, but here's the answer, but you should give me another one. The sportsmanship that I think the sportsmanship that you have, I think, because you noticed that it happens in a couple of matches where you're like, just give me another question. You actually gave me the answer when you did that. You just give me another one. Because one, I think it's just your sportsman is amazing, but also I think it's almost like a mind fuck too in a way, because you're just like, I can answer anything. So like, I already answered, give me another question. Like, just
Ellis told me that. After
it's
2019,
wild.
Ellis said that. He was like, I knew you were in the zone when you just immediately waved off my question. You were like, I already got that. Give me another one. And then I answered that one. And he was like, that's when I knew. He was like, that's when I knew during that match that you were in this zone that was going to be very tough. And I was. I was feeling it. I like live events, to be honest.
It's great. It's so cool, so badass.
And we love seeing you come back at a live event, Kevin. And in typical Spin from the Real fashion, we told you 45 and we kept you for 50.
That's all right. Happy to be here.
Thank you so much for coming on the show, man. It's a pleasure talking to you and for taking up your time on a Christmas Adam.
Adam.
I love that we're coining this here now, because I've been calling it this for like 10 years. It's my favorite.
But yes, much love. We do need to see Smasher live in NYC, in Orlando, Chicago, Atlanta, Nashville, Dallas.
I got to see him in Booker T's arena. That's all I'm saying.
Man. That would be the dream, and I would come out probably in full wrestling gear. I remember,
he gets hard in all.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil it in case it ever happens, but when that was going to happen originally in 2020, like Kaiser and I, we had plans. We were coming out. You guys would have thought you were watching the Attitude Era of WWE.
I was like watching Nitro on a Saturday night in Los Angeles.
Exactly. We had some crazy ideas. So if they ever have that back there, so I'll be excited to share with you.
Kevin, thank you so much. And I'm pretty sure I can speak for all of us. It's been from the real, and it's an honor getting to talk to you. It's a pleasure. And hopefully it won't be the last time.
And again, great talking to you guys. And thanks. It was me, the reason that we got delayed. And I found out all of these friends that I saw on Sunday had COVID. So I had to race and bring my family and get our test. And we were all negative. So
it seems like everyone in this space is testing positive. Like everyone in like the Schmoedown space or Schmoedown adjacent is testing positive. Right now.
And without going into who, but someone that I knew. And I was like, shoot, we're about to see family. So we were racing to get in the car, and you guys were gracious to kind of push it. So I appreciate that. And it was worth the wait. And, obviously, Allison, it's very brave of you to share what you shared. So I'm happy to be here. And next season, when we're ready to rock, let me know. I'll come back and we'll talk about my smashing victory over Chandru.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Smashed.
Open invitation to Spin from the Real anytime you want. That's
all right.
Harper already takes advantage of that at every given moment. So.
And now Kevin's going to do the same thing. All right, bro. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon.
Love you guys. Bye.
Kevin Smets, the Smasher, everybody, joining Spin from the Real for the first time, and hopefully not the last. Hopefully we didn't scare him away. Like everyone's so nice, but he was so damn cool. Much love to Kevin Smets, and much love to everyone in the chat. To all the donations that we got over the course of the show. Tim Sim, you nailed it right in the head, dude. Welcome back, Smets. Seriously. Like that's
100%.
Exactly what it is. And like the moment at Spectacular, and some folks may have known about it, and a lot of folks, that was the talk of the town going into the show. Like, oh, is Smets gonna show up? Like people are out here fantasy booking, and by people I mean me. Fantasy booking. Like when's Smets gonna come out? I thought he was gonna come out after Inner Geekdom, but that wasn't the case. So it is what it is.
And look, Spin from the Real now has the record of how fast Allison can cry on the stream. I want to say we're at 11 minutes. I want to say no, we were at like
it was like 9.
No.
It was like 9:30.
We're at like 9:45.
Like because my man was telling us that story, and you're already going. He didn't stop. And I don't even think you noticed, but all of us in the chat and Matt and I were like, I think
we got it. Nope. So congratulations. We'll see.
Yo,
I love this. This is so fun.
And it's the perfect way to close out the final show that we have the record for how quick Allison Salamone can cry. But to everyone in the chat, thank you so much for checking out the show, for subscribing to the channel, leaving likes. It means a lot to all of us over here. This is our last show of the year, and we're going to take a few weeks off. Then we're going to come back around mid to late January, depending now that awards is getting digitized. Is that the word?
Digitized.
We're going to play around with what we're going to be doing over here at the show and when we're coming back. But we'll announce all that later when we have everything nailed out. But Allison, it's your first show with me officially, second show overall. Let the folks know where they can find you so we can get out of here.
Yeah, no, you can find me over on Twitter at Allison Salamone. You can find me here. You can also find me on the Instagrams, Allison_Salamone. Every now and then I pop up over on Flick and Reel with my boys, Jesse and Sean. So yeah. And then wherever else I decide to invite myself, we'll see what happens in the new year.
so many opportunities, maybe some new shows all around the space.
Yeah.
Who the hell knows? I feel like there's a new after show every
You're going to find me on For Chris's Sake again to talk about the Rocketeer once we get that scheduled.
Soon.
Production meeting right now.
Yes, we're right here, right now. Maybe not. Maybe not. Matt, where can the folks find you on social media?
Just here. That's where I'm at. I'm as everyone knows, unless it's sports stuff or sharing links, I don't do social media all that often. So,
subscribe to the channel for Matt. Please, if you already haven't subscribed, please do so. You can catch me, or actually Suge. Hey Suge, you still there with us, buddy?
I'm here. I got the record time for Allison crying.
Hold up. And we do have a stream lab real quick.
Oh, hit me.
From Tim Sim, excited for the return of Smets next season and the story of where it could go, and hope everyone is well for the holidays, especially in the scary time of the season. Much love to y'all, especially Allison, who is a vital member of our after show community.
Damn right. Damn right. Tim Sim coming in hot.
Tim Sim and shout out to Jada Paramo.
Yeah, who came in as we're closing out.
Yeah.
No,
that's the big homie. That's the big homie right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can find me at ShugeKnight323 on Twitter, ShugeKnight1323 on Twitch. And you can make sure to follow the channel, like, subscribe. I know me and Allison have some Cobra Kai stuff in the works. Chris has got some stuff going on. Matt has, his sports shows, his Real Talk, and all his movie reviews. So check that stuff out. And also just thank you for everyone for this year. Thank you to Matt and Chris for bringing me in the year. Appreciate you both. Obviously, Allison, who's been a spark plug in the community and amazing. And really is awesome. And we have a lot of great ideas for next year. You're not going to want to miss it. We are going with our name, Spin from the Real. So you're gonna love the ideas that I will say one person on this camera came up with, because none of us else did.
Yeah, you saying we is very generous.
Right. So thank you, everybody. Appreciate all of you. Appreciate Mike Deacon, Jade, or Tim Smith, Tim Sim, Brian, Maddie, Brandon,
Jesse, everyone,
Jesse, everybody that's supported us all year. Corey Cameron, Haskell, Maddie Gunner, all the people that have been here. Kelly, thank you, Brandy, everybody. Appreciate all of you. Really do. Thank you very much. Much love to all of you. Can't wait for next year. Enjoy your holidays. Stay safe. Happy New Year. Happy Merry Christmas to all you. Happy holidays, whatever you celebrate. And thank you very much for the support for this channel, for everybody on screen.
Damn right. I couldn't have said it any better myself. Big love to all the other after shows that have been so kind to have us on, and to come on our show. It's been a long season in the Schmoedown, and it may have ended a few weeks ago, but we're finally ending ours right now, and we're going to come back hot and heavy. We're going to come back hot in January. We'll come back in January. That's the one thing I can tell you. When? Follow us on Twitter at Spin From The Real for updates on what we got going on. Much love to everyone in the chat. You can find me at the letter C, Anthony Lopez on Twitter, and the letter C _ Anthony Lopez on Instagram. This is awesome. And the fact that we get to do this cool stuff typically Monday, but on the Thursday right before Christmas, like what I share from sentiment, Christmas Adam Eve.
Christmas
happy
Adam.
Christmas Adam.
Because Adam came before
Eve.
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 In the Bible.
Yes, gave
That's all I know about
gave
it.
the rib Eve made, or Adam was
Friends
gave
called
the
it Christmas
ribs.
Eve
fine.
Eve, so I'm gonna go with the latest show of all time.
Matt. But I was about to break down.
We don't need to break down
freaking
Genesis. It's
Bible.
fine.
Yeah, Genesis. I'm glad you said because I didn't remember it.
We're
But
Catholic, it's fine.
Matt, wrap us up, brother. One last time for 2021.
Remember, folks, spin from the reel and not the peg.